part of the fandom is getting tired of Sanji's pervert gag of him being obsessed with women. People are tired of Zoro getting lost and Luffy being immature.
It makes me appreciate the rest of One Piece a little more.
And I also like how relaxed everyone is about the fact that their captain is literally in prison right now.
Oda knows what he's doing.
The group is very confident about Luffy coming back to them in the end. They don't even worry about it. It's like, I'm sure Luffy will be back here in time. It's not a big deal.
So that's interesting to see.
It's almost as if they kind of know that that's the shonen formula for Luffy to fight the villain of the arc, so that they can just relax right now.
Don't know if that's anything special. Probably not.
When Gecko Moria was defeated on a nightmarish island, he warned Luffy that the real nightmare was not his island. No sir, it is Wano. Flash forward to Wano, and this is how terrified is everyone by that place.
We see the monster trio sitting and just watching the whole thing. Like, they look like they're losing, but it's okay. We're just gonna let them go. Oh man! Whew, see what happened to Raizo? Yeah, he might be dead, but nah, I'm not gonna jump in. Oh man, he's got them all wrapped up. Let's see what happens. Ooh, did you see what Momo did? Hey, cool. Alright, yeah. Man, that Yamato though, they're not doing anything. They want to join the crew? They're just standing there. What's going on, guys? The immediate threat seems to be non-existent. The good book of One Piece delivers once again.
Luffy being unconscious, and Kaido makes the mistake of saying, put him in a cell, and if we can break his will, he'll become a powerful ally. It's like, there's no way that you'll break Luffy's will. Like, that's just not gonna happen. He's the main character of a shonen, so this is a very clear example of Luffy's plot armor kicking in, right? Now, to be fair to Oda, there's not much he can do, because it's not like Kaido's gonna kill Luffy. That's just not gonna happen, because then you lose the main character and there's no more One Piece. The fact that you have Luffy be placed in Kid's cell, it's like, I mean, come on. Like, that is the birth of the Supernova Alliance that a lot of fans, myself included, have been pushing for. Wait till everybody's enjoying their food and everybody's healthy and Wano has finally been liberated, because everybody's happy at the ending of these One Piece arcs. This is why Oda says that he's afraid of, like, changing characters a little bit too much or having them go through character arcs, because people complain about, oh no, this is too out of character for Luffy. Luffy should be doing Luffy things.
Rogue Town is the first time Luffy gets plot armored by a powerful character. He's about to be executed and then Dragon appears and saves his ass. Around that time, Mihawk is revealed to be a friend of Shanks. Thus, right off the bat, the leader of the revolutionaries, at least one of the warlords of the sea, and one of the Yonko do not intend to hurt Luffy, and are in fact going to be helping him however they can. So basically, despite hyping up the Red Line as a very dangerous place, we are immediately led to know Luffy will always be plot armored by powerful individuals. Not just the three mentioned, but a dozen more who will be constantly saving his ass whenever he's in trouble. Thus, you are never made to believe Luffy can lose, much less that he can die. This also takes away the merit from his achievements, since, as it turns out, he wouldn't be able to do anything without the constant favorism from the most powerful people in the world. Thus, Oda sucks at building up tension, as well as making his protagonist to be worthy of his achievements whenever he overcomes a challenge.
The secret ingredient for almost every arc in the series, and a key reason why One Piece is so gripping, satisfying, and honestly a little bit addictive. And it's very simple. It's a countdown.
The newest thing One Piece shields are gassing up is the countdowns. Many arcs, including the current one on Egghead Island, offer a limited amount of time for the Straw Hats, and that builds tension. It's another example for why Oda is such an amazing writer. Yes, once again they mention the creator. They don't read or watch One Piece, they follow Oda. A person they never met and know nothing about doing stuff, which for some reason is always treated as amazing. When it's not, if you simply see how it's executed. So regarding the countdown gimmick that Oda uses, not something One Piece has in many arcs, it does create tension through time pressure, but it's not something amazing since the absence of a countdown also creates tension. If you have a time bomb that will blow up in 3 minutes exactly, creates as much tension as a time bomb that you don't know when it will blow up. In fact, I can even say it creates even more attention, since when you see the countdown, you know something is going to happen in the last 3 seconds, whereas if you don't see it, you will be biting your nails, because you don't know when the bomb goes off. See how easily I debunked this fanboy who wants to fool you into thinking countdowns are the best shit ever? Now let's take this to the next level. Let's say you dig countdowns and you love seeing the remaining time chipping away with every passing second. You are not getting that because time doesn't flow normally in manga. You don't see a clock constantly ticking as the characters walk and talk. A minute in manga time is often hours in actual time, so the time pressure is an illusion. Nobody has only 10 minutes to do something, they have as much time as the plot needs them to have. One Piece, or Oda, since that is the only thing everybody notices, is not doing that better than anyone else. There is a scene in the recent chapters where characters are falling down, and what shouldn't last more than a few seconds ends up lasting for half an hour or something. Thus, I debunked this fanboy and his countdown shilling for a second time, and now I'm going to do it for a third time. What is the point in countdowns when One Piece, I meant Oda, doesn't have any tension? Nobody dies in this manga, not even in flashbacks. A nuclear explosion happened in Alabasta, and not even the guy who was at the center of it died. Count down all you want, it's not gonna make any difference, so what are you even hyping up here? In conclusion, countdowns are numbers, and like anything that has to do with numbers in shonen, it means nothing. Bounties are numbers that mean nothing when nobody can collect them. Power levels at NES lobby mean nothing when they can change in an instant. And countdowns are numbers which mean nothing since the plot can make something to move as fast as it's required.
The Thousand Sunny sailed through a sleeping mist area, which is why the crew was unconscious. So all that drinking and the hallucination stuff went to nothing because they ultimately wound up falling asleep for a whole other entire reason, not related to drinking. I mean, I thought for a second, of course, it was going to be Loki because I thought there was going to be like illusion stuff going on, but that was quickly dispelled. That's who this is. It's Road. And like, I guess it's just a way for Oda to build tension while working us into what this arc is ultimately going to be. Oda building tension in the beginning here, but it's just artificial. We have a Yonko and 2.5 commanders here, so I don't know why they're running away from this guy, the sun god, when Sanji, Zoro, or Luffy, and maybe even Nami could just destroy this guy. These characters are just way too powerful now for shenanigans like this to be happening. On the cover of chapter 898, we see Road, and the title of that chapter is I Will Return. So now I guess everyone's looking at this as Oda foreshadowing that Road was going to be the sun god this whole time. I mean, maybe this was that. I guess it was, but it's still not like exciting, you know, because like this guy doesn't matter. I'm just saying, all right? We're all thinking it. Yeah, I guess it's cool that he set it up on the cover here, but if it was somebody that mattered, then we could be excited.
Backstories are very free for Oda. He's able to pretty much do anything he really wants in these backstories, and what I mean by that is that he can introduce a bunch of cast of characters that aren't not technically like Straw Hat characters, and he can just do whatever he wants with them. He can literally toss them into a garbage bin, have them have the most tragic thing happen to them because they're not main cast of characters. It allows Oda to just put these characters in a situation and allow things to happen that just is crazy dark. And I think that's where Oda's writing skills really shine, is his backstories, because he's not restricted to like, okay, I can't kill off these characters because obviously they're the main cast. And as much as people want to argue about that, that's the truth. He can't kill off main characters because at the end of the day, One Piece is a shonen, okay? So he can't just start killing off characters willy-nilly like that, or it would not be a good thing, okay? It just wouldn't. Like, you can't just, let's say, oh, let's kill off Zoro, let's kill off Nami, let's kill off Usopp, whatever. You can't just do stuff like that.
The Giants respond that Summers is crazy and that the library contains texts left behind by generations over thousands of years, but some argue that children's lives are more important. As we could have guessed, there was going to be a divide between the Giants because of all of this stuff, but burning the books and the library ultimately doesn't really matter. there because Shaka, the Vegapunk satellite, straight up said that he'd read all of the books that they recovered from Ohara on Elbaf and like stored them in his brain, which then went to Punk Records. So all of this data and knowledge still exists. It's just floating somewhere inside of Punk Records. I guess that's where this is headed, right? It's gonna seem like all of the knowledge was lost, but it wasn't really.
The Gods Knights are even more of an issue than we realize because the monsters that they create actually can't be dealt with the entire forces of Elbaf all combined. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. And on top of that, Gunko by herself is too strong for the majority of the Strahd crew to take on combined. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. And Sommers is an immortal warrior that nobody on the Strahd crew outside of likely the monster trio can really seem to take on. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. And the Gods Knights have successfully captured the children, and the Gods Knights are successfully forcing the Giants into an ultimatum. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. Maybe things can be resolved, but then in just one fell swoop, Oda's like, no, I'm gonna raise the stakes even higher. Takes Gaban out, and then has Imu himself show up, and suddenly takes a situation that was already probably at like max emergency red doomsday situation for Elbaf, and just cranks it up 10x. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. The protagonists were already screwed, right? Everybody was done. Gaban was out of the photo, the Strahds were captured, the Elbaf Giants were helpless to Killingham's army already. They had already lost. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. But then Imu just jumps in and takes a situation that has already ended in defeat for the protagonist in a sense, and just layers it on so many times over that now it's just like, what is even happening here? How can the nation of Elbaf possibly survive this? Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. I genuinely don't know how this situation can be resolved outside of conceding some sort of defeat on the part of the Giants of Elbaf. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. It does not seem like the protagonists are in any situation to mount a real fight or comeback right now. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. So I think overall Oda set up the perfect scenario to really give the nation of Elbaf a sort of crushing blow. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't here. If Luffy and Imu are destined mortal enemies, especially in their powers, what's stopping Luffy from making his own army of willing Nikas? Luffy's ability allows him to do that. We've already seen Bonnie be able to turn herself into Nika. I like the idea that Luffy's able to inspire everybody else to become their best version of themselves, just being able to grant characters powers.